So you see this and you wonder why. Why does this happen? They're supplying him with the meds that the doctors are writing, but there's something missing. So I started to get into nutrition. Probably had the biggest vitamin section between LA and San Francisco as far as in a drugstore. So about 3 years later, after getting into the hospital pharmacy, my daughter Karen called me home one night, and she was bathing her in a tub, and she was covered with a lot of bruises. And it was more than just getting bruised while playing. You know, absolutely her capillaries were breaking. So we took her to the doctor the next day, which would have been about a Thursday, and he came back on Saturday, said, I want to come to the house to meet with you, and I knew something was serious. So he told us that she had acute lymphocytic leukemia, and she had 3 months to live. Now, I went to the store the next day, thinking here between the hospital and the pharmacy, I have all these lotions and potions, all the things that I've learned in pharmacology and biology, and I didn't know where to turn. They ended up taking her down to Children's Hospital in Los Angeles with 48 other children. She was there. By the grace of God, she received a special protocol from St. Jude's Hospital in Memphis. The other 48 children died, and she survived. So, praise God, she's healthy today. But what that did is it even pushed me more into nutrition. During this period of time, of course, we had to be very careful about her diet, because it's not always, you know, the medicines you're taking or even the nutrition. You have to get less of the bad stuff and more of the good stuff. So we learned a lot more about healthy eating for the children, and that kind of took me into kind of nutrition for life.
That's awesome. Sometimes our greatest tragedies become the impetus to our greatness, period, and what you've done. Whew. Leanne, tell us a little bit about your story.
Back in June, found a lump in my breast that I knew wasn't right. I, like the good Christian girl I am, thought I could pray my way out of it, and spent 2 months on my knees trying to fix it between me and God. God said no. And in August, as I started school going, you know, I teach, so getting back into that work and school and welcoming new kids back to school, was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer at the age of 38. Still hard to say that word. It always seemed like something that happened to older people, not people who were 38. Wasn't in my family. There's not really they can't put their finger on how I came to this point. So I was told right away that they were going to have to be very aggressive. Surgery was going to have to happen pretty quickly. I had a double mastectomy in October, and then started a very rigorous chemo in December. Just finished the bad part of chemo 2 weeks ago. So the worst part, I think, is behind me. I still have a long way to go. I still have to do 6.5 weeks of radiation. That probably starts closer to May. But you come into something thinking that you're going one direction, and then all of a sudden everything changes.
I know we were talking yesterday, and with all the toughness of chemo and everything you've been through, you were sharing how, I'm not going to say you felt great, but how much improved that you've been. What do you relate that to?
My relationship with God is very strong, so I'm going to give him the credit first, because he pours out. He pours out mercy on me every day, and there are many days I get up and just say, give me what I have to do to get through today. But other than that, I got on ID Nutrition back in March, and I believe 100% that it changed the way that I responded to everything. When I had surgery, I came home the day after surgery with no pain medicine. I went back to work in 3 weeks, teaching full-time, coaching full-time. When I started chemo in December, I was told how terrible it was going to be, that I was going to be sick, that I might not even be able to work because of the amount of germs that I'm exposed to every day and how low my immune system would be. And other than missing school for actual treatments, I've only missed 3 days of school during this whole 18 weeks. My whole family is on ID Nutrition also to build that barrier. I don't need them bringing germs into my house either. So my kids and my husband, we all, it's essential for us to all be on that to make sure that we can control what's coming in. And I came into ID Life as a runner who was looking for something to up my game. And, 6 months in, it became a lot more about how am I going to survive and how am I going to keep my health when they're going to strip my system and make it very unhealthy. And they're going to pump me full of poison. That's what I call it, because let's be honest, that's what it is. And I had to have something that was going to fight the good fight against the bad fight. And for me, ID Nutrition was that. I have energy that I shouldn't have. I have health that I shouldn't have. I still ran while I was doing chemo. I still run now. I still coach softball at the varsity level. I teach 6-year-olds how to read every day. Life doesn't slow down, and that's the hard part is you get diagnosed and everybody feels sorry for you, and I didn't want anybody to ever feel sorry for me. I didn't want anybody to know I was sick. I didn't want people to look at me and think, oh, I feel so sorry for her because she's so sick. I just wanted to live, and I wanted to go on. And I can't thank Logan and Paul enough for what they've done and for what they continue to do. This man, he said yesterday while we were talking that he almost quit at one point and turned his back on all of it. And in my head, I'm going, no, please don't quit. Even though I know how the story ends, he didn't quit. But in my mind, I'm like, no.
Well, let me share a little one.